It was a sweltering summer day when my friends Sarah, Tom, and I decided to embark on a daring adventure into the heart of the Untamed Jungle. Armed with cameras, machetes, and a sense of excitement, we were determined to capture the beauty and mystery of this wild place. As we ventured deeper into the jungle, the air became thick with humidity, and the dense foliage blocked out the sun. The tangled undergrowth made progress slow, and the sounds of the city we had left behind were replaced by an eerie silence broken only by the occasional distant animal call. Hours passed, and the jungle's oppressive atmosphere began to wear on us. Our GPS devices were malfunctioning, and we couldn't get a clear signal. We had thought we were well prepared, but the jungle seemed to have a way of swallowing us whole, erasing our sense of direction. That's when strange things started happening. We heard footsteps, soft and deliberate, following us. When we turned, no one was there. We dismissed it as our imagination playing tricks on us. But the unease lingered. As night fell, we set up our campsite. The jungle came alive with a symphony of strange sounds. Shadows danced among the trees, and we couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Sarah claimed to have seen glowing eyes in the darkness, but we passed it off as reflections from our flashlights. Sleep was elusive that night. The jungle's whispers grew louder, resembling faint, distant conversations in an unknown language. Tom, usually the fearless one, confessed to feeling a sense of dread that he couldn't explain. He kept muttering about a presence lurking just beyond our campsite. In the early hours of the morning, our campsite was shaken by an unidentifiable roar that echoed through the jungle. We grabbed our cameras and rushed to the source, hoping to capture this mysterious creature on film. What we encountered was beyond our worst nightmares. In a small clearing, we found a decrepit altar surrounded by strange symbols etched into the ground. The stench of decay filled the air, and there, on the altar, lay the remains of an animal, mutilated in a gruesome ritualistic fashion. Fear gripped us as we realized we were in a place we didn't understand. With no time to waste, we abandoned our campsite and fled the jungle. The strange occurrences only intensified as we retraced our steps. It felt as though the jungle itself was resisting our escape. Days turned into weeks as we struggled to make our way out. Food and water ran low, and our spirits were crushed under the weight of our fear and exhaustion. We encountered strange phenomena: trees that seemed to move, whispers that grew louder, and a feeling of being constantly watched. Eventually, we stumbled upon a small village deep within the jungle. The villagers were wary of outsiders but offered us food and shelter. Through a local interpreter, we learned that the jungle was considered sacred, inhabited by ancient spirits, and guarded by those who knew its secrets. They warned us never to return, for the jungle could consume those who dared to defy its mysteries. To this day, we can't explain what happened in that jungle, but one thing is certain: it was a place that defied logic and reason, a place where the line between the natural and the supernatural blurred. The jungle had claimed a piece of our sanity, leaving us with haunting memories and an eternal sense of unease. We never returned, but the jungle's secrets still haunt our dreams, a constant reminder of the abyss we had dared to explore. Deep within the heart of the jungle, there existed a place few had ever dared to venture, a forgotten temple concealed by centuries of overgrowth and mystery. My companions for this journey were Jane, a history enthusiast, and Max, an adventure seeker. We had heard whispers about this temple, rumored to hold secrets of an ancient civilization. The journey to reach the temple was arduous. The jungle was dense, and each step felt like a battle against nature itself. The further we ventured, the more the jungle seemed to close in around us. The canopy above was so thick that it blocked out most of the sunlight, casting an eerie greenish hue on everything below. Our first encounter with the supernatural occurred when we stumbled upon an ancient, moss-covered statue of a deity we couldn't identify. As we approached, The statue's eyes seemed to gleam with an otherworldly light, and for a brief moment, it felt as if it was watching us. We hurriedly moved on, shaken by the experience. The deeper we penetrated, the more we noticed peculiar occurrences. Unearthly whispers seemed to emanate from the trees, and the vines seemed to writhe and curl like living serpents. Max claimed to have seen apparitions among the trees, figures that resembled long-forgotten warriors. As night fell, we decided to set up camp within the temple grounds. The temple itself was a breathtaking sight, its architecture a testament to the skill of the ancient civilization that had built it. However, it was in a state of decay, and the air around it was heavy with an otherworldly energy. During the night, we heard the sound of drums, distant but undeniable. It was as though the jungle itself was alive, pulsating with an ancient rhythm. We followed the sound through a passage in the temple, leading us deeper into its depths. What we discovered was a chamber adorned with intricate carvings depicting a civilization long gone. The drums emanated from an altar at the center of the chamber, where a group of spectral figures appeared to be performing a ritual. Their faces were obscured by masks, and their movements were synchronized with an eerie precision. Fear gripped us, but we couldn't tear our eyes away from the mesmerizing spectacle. The spectral figures chanted in an unknown language, and the air grew thick with an otherworldly power. It was as if we had stumbled upon a portal to another realm. In that moment, we had a choice: to stay and witness the ritual, or to flee. Max, ever the adventurer, wanted to stay and uncover the secrets of the temple. Jane, on the other hand, urged us to leave, fearing the consequences of meddling with forces beyond our understanding. We made the difficult decision to retreat, slowly backing away from the chamber. As we left the temple, the drums grew fainter, and the jungle returned to its eerie silence. To this day, we often wonder what we had witnessed in the depths of the jungle, whether it was a glimpse into a long-lost civilization or a brush with the supernatural. The temple remains a place of mystery and intrigue, hidden away in the heart of the jungle, waiting for the next brave souls to unlock its secrets. It was a hot, humid afternoon when my friend Jake and I decided to venture into the heart of the dense jungle that had always intrigued us. Armed with our backpacks, machetes, and a sense of curiosity that bordered on recklessness, we set out on what we thought would be an unforgettable adventure. The deeper we ventured, the more we felt like we were being watched. Twisted vines and towering trees cast eerie shadows that danced in the dim light. The jungle was alive with the sound of unseen creatures, their calls sending shivers down our spines. We both laughed it off as our overactive imaginations running wild. As we walked further, I began to notice strange markings on the trees. Symbols I couldn't decipher, etched into the bark with precision. Jake brushed them off as the work of some unknown tribe, but I couldn't shake the feeling that they held a more sinister meaning. They seemed to be guiding us deeper into the jungle, and I couldn't help but wonder if we were following a path we shouldn't be on. The day turned to night, and we decided to set up camp. That's when the whispering began. Faint, incomprehensible voices seemed to be coming from all around us. Jake claimed it was just the wind, but it didn't sound natural. It was as if the jungle itself was trying to communicate with us, its ancient secrets beckoning us closer. Sleep did not come easy that night. Every rustle of leaves, every distant cry of an animal, felt like a threat. I could hear Jake tossing and turning in his sleeping bag too, equally uneasy. Suddenly, we both heard the voice of a woman crying for help in the distance. Against our better judgment, we grabbed our flashlights and followed the eerie sound through the darkness. We arrived at a small clearing to find a tattered journal lying on the ground. The voice had stopped, and we couldn't find anyone. The journal was filled with cryptic notes, mentioning something about a curse and a forbidden ritual deep within the jungle. It spoke of ancient tribes who had once inhabited this land and their attempts to appease the spirits that dwelled here. That's when we decided it was time to leave. We packed up our gear and made our way back, our hearts pounding in our chests. As we retraced our steps, the jungle seemed to release its grip on us, and the oppressive feeling of being watched lifted. But the journal haunted our thoughts, and the memory of that voice in the night left us with a sense of dread. To this day, Jake and I can't explain what we experienced in that jungle. We never returned, and that journal remains a haunting mystery. It's a place that I would caution anyone against exploring, for there are secrets in the heart of the jungle that are best left undisturbed. The whispering voices, the mysterious symbols, and the journal's cryptic warnings continue to haunt our dreams, a constant reminder of the hidden terrors that lurk in the depths of the wilderness.